October the 5th of 2018 was supposed to be just another day for 26-year-old Terrence Woods. Terrence was on set working on season 1 of Gold Rush, Dave Turner's Lost Mine, with production company Raw TV. According to coworkers, Terrence had been acting strange all day. He wasn't as calm and collected as he normally was. At the end of the shoot, Terrence reportedly jumped off a 15-foot cliff and disappeared into the woods. His coworkers tried to run after him, but the terrain of the mountains was too rough and unpredictable for them to continue pursuit. They contacted authorities, but the sun was beginning to set, so the police decided to start the search the following morning. K9 units and helicopters were dispatched but were unable to find any clues leading to Terrence. 6 years later, his family is still wondering, where is Terrence Woods? Terrence Woods Jr. was born on the 24th of October, 1991. He was born and raised in PG County, Maryland. Terrence and his younger brother came from a loving two-parent household. His family says that Terrence was adventurous as a kid and he vowed to one day travel the world. He was also curious, which led him to major in journalism at the University of Maryland. After he enrolled in 2009, he was able to secure a job as a co-anchor for a college news program. According to his teachers, Terrence stood out from the rest with his work ethic and his ability to learn. He graduated with a bachelor's in journalism in 2013. His parents were extremely proud as he was the first person in the family to go to college, let alone graduate. While he already had enough credentials to get a job in his field, Terrence wanted more. His adventurous side revealed itself when he moved to London and got a master's degree in international relations. Before he returned to the US, Terrence decided to reach out to an independent film company to see if they had any openings. They were instantly impressed upon meeting him and offered him a job on the spot. And just like that, Terrence was traveling the world with different film crews, helping with the production of various television programs, including The Voice UK and Saving Africa's Elephants. His work took him all over the world, and his family and friends describe him as being a kind and loving man who showed no signs of what was to come. Anytime Terrence would return to the States, he made sure to bring something back to his parents who were always supporting his dreams. After 5 years of primarily staying in the UK, he began to get homesick, so Terrence returned to Maryland in the hopes of finding work in the US. Upon his return, he received an offer from Raw TV, a production company based in London. Terrence, along with his parents, were very excited for this opportunity. However, no one would have guessed what would happen next, as Terrence boarded a plane for Idaho and hasn't been seen since. Terrence landed on October 4th, 2018, and seemed to be in good spirits. At 10:58 p.m. Idaho time, Terrence texted his dad to let him know he was good. 2 hours later, Terrence sent his dad a video of a serene river cutting its way through a rocky canyon. The text had no words, and the only thing audible in the video was the sound of the water. Later during an investigation, a reporter who saw the video remarked how it seemed creepy and foreboding. On October 5th, 2018, Terrence was working on the Discovery Channel's documentary, Gold Rush, Dave Turner's Lost Mine. As part of a 12-person crew, Terrence followed the host's journey exploring disused mines in the mountains of Idaho, but Terrence wasn't his usual self on this day. On the morning of his disappearance, he texted his father, telling him he was coming home early. Terrence wanted to leave the set prematurely, cutting the trip short by several weeks, which is something he never did. He was supposed to be in Idaho working on the documentary until mid-November. As the shoot wrapped up around 5:30 p.m., Terrence asked someone who was helping the crew with transport where the bathroom was. Moments after, associate producer Simon G noticed that Terrence had thrown his radio on the ground. The next thing he saw was Terrence running down a steep cliff that led to the forest, where he disappeared into the trees. G and others tried to go down the cliff after him, but the terrain in Oro Grande is very rough. They reportedly returned with their clothes torn and covered in blood. G would later tell Terrence Sr. that his son was running faster than he ever saw someone run before. In the hours before he was reported missing, Terrence posted a photo to his private Instagram page. He captioned it with one word: Idaho. Idaho County, where Terrence was last seen, spans more than 8,500 square miles, and more than 80% of that land is part of Nez Perce National Park. Its rugged landscape has dense forests and steep mountains and is also sparsely populated with about 16,000 residents. To add to the already difficult search, a local woman, 76-year-old Connie Johnson, went missing in the area the same day. However, authorities maintain that the two incidents are unrelated and took place several miles apart. Terrence's disappearance was reported to the Idaho County Sheriff's Office at 6:41 p.m. that same evening. According to an update posted to its Facebook page, due to the late hour of the report, the search for Terrence did not begin until the following day. At the time he disappeared, Terrence was described as a 26-year-old black male, 5'9", 130 pounds, with black hair and brown eyes. He was wearing a light brown sweatshirt and black cargo pants. Search teams made up of dogs, ground searchers, ATVs, and heat-detecting helicopters were sent out. The sheriff's office said they checked nearby foothills and mines, but weren't able to find anything. Unable to find any trace of Terrence, the search was called off after 6 days. Terrence's parents both believe that Raw TV is hiding the truth about their son's disappearance. He was responsible. He wouldn't run away without good reason, unless he was scared, his mom Valerie told reporters. They also say police failed to gather enough potential evidence from Terrence's phone, laptop, and the hotel he was staying at. They believe that Terrence, who was the only black crew member in Idaho, felt intimidated or was mistreated by his colleagues. It was later found that the reason he wanted to leave early was to see his mother, due to health issues. This was despite Terrence's mom informing him that she did not require surgery as originally feared. Following Terrence's disappearance, his family were only permitted to speak with one of his co-workers, and Raw TV refused to name the other 10. Raw TV denies hiding any details surrounding Terrence's disappearance. A spokesperson told reporters, "The police have closely examined the case, including Terrence's correspondence with us and others, and have found nothing to support the allegations you have put to us." They also deny that Terrence was subject to any mistreatment or intimidation by the crew. The Idaho County Sheriff's Office report says that Terrence was having a really hard time emotionally and had a mental breakdown earlier that day. His parents say that he did not mention any mental health issues, but his colleagues said that he was acting erratically, yelling at people, accusing them of spying on him, talking about him, trying to kill him, etc. When the 911 call was made, the caller, who was not part of the TV crew, alleged that Terrence had been dealing with mental health issues throughout the shoot. These statements were later retracted when Terrence's family pushed for them to be confirmed in the weeks following his disappearance. Moreover, on a podcast, Terrence Sr. shared something he heard from the 911 call. That morning, he had an anxiety attack. We had to detain him. Associate producer Simon G. was the last employee to see Terrence before he disappeared and had to tell Terrence's parents what happened. Simon, along with another employee, met with them at the sheriff's office. The first thing Simon said when I met him was, "I had high expectations for your son, but when I met him, he didn't meet them," Terrence Sr. told Vice. Sheriff Doug Giddings noted that there had been tensions between Terrence and the production crew. He said that they viewed Terrence as being a little bit weird, and he concluded that Terrence wasn't happy there and there were several people there who weren't happy with him. Referring to Terrence's parents, Sheriff Giddings also said, "They wanted to believe that the movie company was guilty of something, and we couldn't determine that the movie company was guilty of anything." An anonymous source said, "I've had people contact me who have worked there, and have heard people laughing and joking about Terrence's disappearance, saying, "Should we use some of the footage from the day that Terrence disappeared?" And that has made some people leave because they felt so uncomfortable. Valerie and Terrence Sr. say that Raw TV has kept its contact with them and others who want answers about Terrence to a minimum. Rochelle Newman said, "I met Terrence at an event which was part of the TV diversity scheme we were both on. He was always bubbly, passionate about his work, and was on his way to a long, successful career in TV. Gia Tabasco met Woods in 2016 and describes him as the most pure person." She also said that there needs to be better mental health support for people who work in television, especially those in junior roles like Terrence. "You literally just have to fend for yourself," she said. "I think it's so sad that it happened to him because he is one of the nicest, calmest, most gentle people," she says. "It doesn't make sense when I hear people say that he struggled with his mental health or that he didn't live up to expectations," added friend Cassandra Alexander. "I spent 6 months on a TV production course with him, and he always exceeded expectations and never ever showed signs of having any mental health problems." Terrence Sr. was clear that his son had no mental health problem, no communication problem when reporters asked about the claims. He says that each day since Terrence's disappearance has been just as hard as the first. "I don't want to watch no movies with someone running through the woods because I think of my son," he says. "If I close my eyes, I see my son crying and yelling. Some nights I hear him saying, 'Dad, Dad.' I walk around the house and I look in his room. He's kept it just as it was left and keeps photos of Terrence on his dresser. The scat pack he bought for his son's 27th birthday sits unused in the driveway. The last time I saw T, I took him to the airport and he said, 'See you later, Dad.' And I said, 'See you sooner,' just like I always did, and I hugged him," Terrence Sr. says. Terrence Woods Jr. seemed to have worked for everything he wanted and more, which makes his disappearance so much more puzzling. His ambition and work ethic would have gotten him far in the television business. Hopefully, someday soon, Terrence Woods Jr. will be found.